She wanted an open marriage. I gave it to her. Now she's begging to close it. Hello everyone, I'm writing this because I genuinely don't know if I'm in the wrong here or if my wife and I just fell apart faster than I realized. I'm a 31-year-old man and my wife Anna is 28. We've been married for only 6 months, but somehow it already feels like years. Not in the comfortable, familiar way people describe long marriages, but in the slow, heavy way where every day feels a little quieter than the one before. When we first got married, everything was great. We were affectionate, playful, couldn't keep our hands off each other. We'd spend weekends hiking, making dinner together, or just lying in bed talking about our dreams. She'd laugh at my bad jokes, I'd listen to her ramble about her job, and I honestly believed we were going to be one of those couples who stayed in love forever. But around the 4th month, things started to shift. It was subtle at first. She stopped reaching for my hand when we walked, stopped kissing me good morning. The laughter we used to share got replaced with small sighs and distracted looks. I thought maybe it was stress from work or something personal, so I didn't make a big deal out of it. But over time, the warmth in our home just cooled off. Then came the excuses. When I'd suggest a date night, she'd say she was too tired. When I'd initiate intimacy, she'd say, maybe tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. I'd wake up early and make her breakfast, pancakes, her favorite, only for her to mumble thanks without looking up from her phone. It started to hurt, the kind of quiet hurt that settles deep in your chest. I tried to talk to her about it one evening after dinner. I remember the way she looked at me, not angry, not even sad, just distant. Anna, I said softly, I feel like you're pulling away from me. Did I do something wrong? She sighed and leaned back in her chair. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I don't know, I don't feel the same excitement anymore. The novelty of marriage kind of wore off, you know? Her words hit harder than I expected. I sat there staring at her, trying to process what she meant by novelty. I asked her if there was something I could do to make her feel more excited again. Maybe a trip, more time together, anything. That's when she said it. Maybe we should try opening our marriage. For a second, I thought I misheard her. What? She said it casually, as if she was suggesting we try a new restaurant. It's just maybe if we had more freedom, if we could see other people, it might help us figure out what we really want. It doesn't have to mean the end of us. It could make things better. I remember feeling numb. My stomach twisted like I'd swallowed something heavy. The woman I loved was sitting across from me, suggesting she needed other people to feel alive again. I didn't even know how to react. I wanted to say no, to tell her it was insane, that marriage wasn't something you open, but the fear of losing her, of pushing her further away, kept my mouth shut. I just sat there, nodding slowly, pretending I was okay. Okay, I finally said, if that's what you want. She smiled faintly, almost relieved, and that hurt even more. That night I lay awake next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. My chest ached, but beneath the pain was something else, something I couldn't name yet. Maybe anger, maybe resolve. All I know is, as I closed my eyes, one thought echoed in my mind. If this is what she wants, I'll give it to her. After that talk, our open marriage officially began. Funny thing, the moment she got the freedom she wanted, she changed completely. Suddenly, my wife Anna was dressing up for girls' nights, glued to her phone, giggling at messages she'd hide whenever I walked by. I'd hear her whispering on call, saying things like, "You're such a tease," and laughing like a teenager again. I told myself I wouldn't snoop. If she wanted her freedom, she could have it. But I'd have mine too. At first, I focused on work to keep my mind clear. I'm a lumberjack. Tree removal, cabin builds, repairs, all that heavy outdoor stuff that leaves you sore but proud. But things have been slow lately, and money was tight. Then one night, half as a joke, I made a post on Tinder and Craigslist. Hardworking lumberjack, tree removal, firewood, custom builds, 10 to 30% discount for locals. Honest work, good company. It started as a joke, a way to get new clients and maybe some attention. But to my surprise, it worked. The next morning, my inbox was full. Some were real job inquiries, others, let's just say, not so professional. One woman asked me if I could trim her bush. I thought she was being funny until she sent her address. I showed up, did the work properly, cleared some trees, fixed her fence. She tried to pay me extra, but instead invited me in for coffee. Coffee turned into conversation, and conversation turned into something a little bit more. And it kept happening. Not with every job, but enough to make me realize I still had it. Women appreciated me, my work ethic, my build, my attitude. I wasn't giving away labor for attention. I charged fairly, gave them a discount when I could, and left them smiling, one way or another. And yeah, I'll be honest, some of those encounters turned intimate. Not planned, not forced, just two adults finding comfort in each other. It was different from what Anna was doing, because I still faced people in real life, built things, connected through work, through effort. Hers was just a fantasy. She spent hours on her phone with her so-called WhatsApp guy. I'd catch her smiling at the screen, whispering his name, Tom, but she never met him, not once. Everything between them was texts and calls, nothing physical, nothing real. She was in love with a voice, an illusion. Meanwhile, my phone was blowing up with new requests. The more I worked, the more I earned. My Tinder joke turned into a side business. I was hauling logs, cutting trees, making real money, and yeah, sometimes leaving with a kiss goodbye that lasted a little longer than it should have. And with every new job, every new smile, my confidence grew. I wasn't the insecure husband anymore. I was a man with purpose again. One night I came home from finishing a big cabin project. My hands were sore, my muscles aching, but my spirit was light. Then I heard it, Anna's laughter echoing from the living room. She was lying on the couch, giggling into her phone, saying, "You're so naughty, stop." She didn't even notice me standing there. It stung, but not the way it used to. I didn't feel jealous anymore. I just felt, sorry for her. Because while she was falling for a stranger behind a screen, I was rediscovering myself in the real world. And the real world was starting to reward me. What she didn't know was that her WhatsApp guy wasn't who she thought he was. And when she found out, it would destroy everything she believed about this little arrangement.
A few weeks after our open marriage began, something shifted. Anna wasn't glowing anymore. The spark she once flaunted so proudly, the makeup, the energy, the constant texting, all started to fade. At first, I thought she was just tired. But then I noticed the little things. Her eyes looked puffy, her voice dull, her phone glued to her hand, but her thumb not moving. No more laughter, no more late-night whispers, just silence and sighs. I didn't ask right away. Part of me already knew. See, even when this whole thing started, I had my doubts about her so-called WhatsApp guy. Something about it didn't sit right. He never called her on video, never met in person. Every time I gently asked, "You've actually seen this guy, right?" she'd roll her eyes and say, "Of course he is. He's just busy. He's a trader, always traveling." I let it go, because honestly, a small part of me didn't care. If she wanted to chase a fantasy, let her. Maybe she'd realize on her own how foolish it was. Turns out, I was right. One evening, I came home from a long day, covered in sawdust, tired but proud. Business was booming. My ad had blown up. I was getting new clients daily. People respected me. Women smiled when I walked into a room. But when I walked into our house that night, Anna was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her phone like it had betrayed her. I asked softly, "Everything okay?" Her lips trembled. Then she said it. "He blocked me." I paused, not sure what she meant. "Who did?" "Tom. He told me he needed help. He told me his account got frozen and he needed some Steam gift cards to pay a fee. I just wanted to help." My stomach twisted, not in anger, but disbelief. "Wait, you sent him money?" "It wasn't money, just gift cards, about $1,000 worth. And then he stopped replying. I tried calling. He blocked me everywhere." She buried her face in her hands. "I'm such an idiot." I didn't say anything for a while. I just stood there watching her cry into her palms, realizing this was the same woman who'd once told me I wasn't exciting enough. And in that moment, I didn't feel anger. I felt something colder, something quieter. Sympathy mixed with satisfaction. Because while she'd been living in some fantasy romance with a faceless scammer, I'd been out in the real world, earning, building, connecting. She'd gambled her pride and lost. I'd gambled my heart and rebuilt it. Over the next few days, she changed. She stopped wearing makeup, stopped checking her phone every minute, stopped going out altogether. She'd sit at the table while I talked about new jobs, pretending to listen. I could see the jealousy creeping in. Every time I mentioned a client praising my work or a woman offering me dinner after a long day. One night she finally asked me, Are you seeing someone?" I shrugged. I meet people. I don't go looking for it, but yeah, sometimes things happen. She looked down. I could see the envy burning in her eyes. The same woman who once said she didn't feel attracted to me anymore. Funny how fast things turn. The next evening, she came to me in the living room. Her voice was small, softer than I'd heard it in months. Maybe we should close our marriage. I looked at her, hair messy, eyes red, voice shaking. Part of me wanted to reach out and say yes, to end this madness and start over. But another part of me, the part that had worked hard, been loyal, been patient, just sat there in silence, thinking, now you want to close it? And I didn't answer. Not yet. When Anna said, maybe we should close our marriage, I didn't answer right away. I just sat there, staring at her, trying to read what she really meant. Regret? Shame? Or just fear that she'd lost control of the game she started? She stood there waiting, hands clasped, eyes darting everywhere except mine. Finally I said, you wanted freedom. I just learned how to live with it. Her face fell. For a moment I almost felt cruel, but I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. Over the next few days, she tried to act normal again, cooking dinner, asking about my day, even putting on perfume she hadn't worn in months. She'd brush my arm when walking by, sit closer than usual on the couch, start little conversations that felt forced. One night, while I was fixing a loose drawer, she leaned against the counter and said quietly, do you ever think about us? I didn't look up. Sometimes. She swallowed hard. I miss that. I miss you. It hit me how strange it was to hear those words from her now after everything. I turned to face her. Anna, I tried to fix things. I begged you to talk to me, to spend time with me. You said I wasn't enough, so I tried to become enough for myself this time. Her eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake. Yeah, I said softly. We both did. She stepped closer, touched my chest gently, like she was testing if I'd pull away. I didn't, but I didn't move toward her either. I don't want anyone else, not after what happened. I just want to feel close to you again. I sighed, not out of anger, just exhaustion. I care about you, Anna. I really do, but I can't go back to being the man who begged for affection, the man who thought he had to earn love by losing himself. For a long moment, we just stood there. The silence between us wasn't hostile, just heavy, full of things that couldn't be undone. She turned away, wiping her eyes. So what happens now? I shrugged. I don't know. Maybe we stay open, maybe we don't. But whatever we do, it won't be the same. She nodded slowly, like she already knew that. Then she walked off to bed, leaving me alone in the kitchen with the sound of the clock ticking, steady, unbothered, indifferent. I leaned back against the counter, staring at the floor, thinking about everything that had happened. When she first asked for an open marriage, I thought saying yes meant weakness. I thought I was surrendering. But maybe it was the opposite. Maybe that's when I stopped chasing what didn't want to be caught. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted her to see what I saw, that love dies the moment you start treating it like an option. And now that she wants to close it again, I'm not sure I can. So, am I the asshole?